Greenland is at the center of a global power struggle, and Donald Trump wants it for the US. His push to buy Greenland isn't just about its rich resources like rare earth metals and oil. It's a bold move to counter rivals like Russia and China in the Arctic. While Greenland's leaders insist it is not for sale, Trump's focus touches on huge issues regarding the island's role in global security. Is his fantasy of owning Greenland a stroke of genius or a pipe dream? Just wait, because Greenland's rare earth metals and its strategic location could very well change the balance of global power. What's so special about Greenland? Trump has made several references to buying Greenland and stated that the US needs it for economic security. He has vowed not only to seek to win it, but also not to rule out pursuing it at the barrel of a gun or via economic pressure, because he believes it's key to America's future. His interest, experts and officials say, goes beyond security to incorporate Greenland's rich trove of natural resources, including rare earth metals, which could become more accessible as climate change melts the ice. Greenland is the largest island on Earth, home to around 56,000 people in a self-governing territory of Denmark. It is strategically important because it is located between the United States and Europe. The US has long seen Greenland as key to national security, especially for monitoring threats from Russia. The Northwest Passage, a major shipping route, runs nearby, and Greenland is part of the Greenland-Iceland-United Kingdom gap, crucial for naval defense. This isn't the first time the US has wanted Greenland. In 1867, when President Andrew Johnson bought Alaska, there was talk of acquiring Greenland too. After World War II, President Truman offered Denmark $100 million for it, but the deal fell through. However, in 1951, a defense agreement allowed the US to build the Patuxent Space Base in northwest Greenland. This base, the most northerly of US military bases, is key to missile defense, and it is located between Moscow and New York. Greenland offers more than just geography. Trump and his advisors are also eyeing its vast wealth of natural resources, including oil, gas, and rare earth metals. These metals are essential to modern technology, from electric cars to military hardware. China currently dominates the production of rare earths globally and has even threatened to stop supplying them to the US. That's why many experts are convinced Trump wants Greenland, so the US could reduce its reliance on China and secure access to these vital materials. Climate change is also playing a role. As the Arctic heats up and ice thins, Greenland's natural treasures may become easier to mine. Trade and transportation are also being facilitated through new shipping routes opened in the Arctic. According to Trump, melting ice seems to open up the region and may even offer economic opportunities. But experts say that Arctic waters are still treacherous and that melting ice does not, by default, make mining easier, only that such resources are more crucial than ever. So, could the US really buy Greenland? The short answer is almost definitely no. Political leaders in both Denmark and Greenland have flatly rejected the idea. Mute Egede, Greenland's prime minister, could not have been more direct. Greenland is not for sale and never will be. Nonetheless, the timing is interesting. Greenland's government has long wished for greater autonomy from Denmark. In response, Denmark has increased military spending in Greenland and even redesigned its royal coat of arms to highlight Greenland's polar bear symbol. Some have speculated that if Trump were to offer Greenland financial support, perhaps like the $500 million annual grant it currently receives from Denmark, Greenland might consider a new kind of relationship with the US. Some have even compared this idea to the special arrangement the US has with the Marshall Islands, where sovereignty is maintained, but the US provides economic assistance in exchange for strategic agreements. But would Greenland really agree to that? Many, including former Greenland Prime Minister Kupik Kleist, are deeply skeptical. He added that the US has not always made its own native people feel welcome, so the deal ends up in discussions rather than appeals. Others think it might just be talk, part of a pressure campaign against Denmark, or even a distraction from other matters. Whatever the case, Greenland remains a hot potato in international politics, and its future may be determined by decisions made in the years ahead in Washington, Copenhagen, and Nuuk. A bold move or a dream too far? Donald Trump is once again talking about buying Greenland, the huge Arctic island owned by Denmark. The prospect isn't a new one. He raised the matter in 2019 when he was president, but is now resurfacing with his assertion that the US needs Greenland for national security. The US already has a military base there, and since Denmark is a NATO ally, the two countries have worked together for years on defense matters. However, Trump's repeated interest in acquiring Greenland has made the island's people more determined to gain full independence from Denmark. Greenland has been under Danish rule for over 300 years, but in 1979, it was granted home rule, and by 2009, it gained more control over its own affairs. Still, Denmark handles its foreign affairs and defense, while sending Greenland a yearly subsidy of about $500 million. Even though Greenlanders are Danish citizens, the island is not part of the European Union. Now, the Greenland border is ever closer to full independence. In 2023, the island exposed its first draft constitution with the goal of establishing its own republic and showing its Inuit roots. Recent election results revealed that a large number of Greenlanders are eager for more power of their own, but they are proceeding more carefully. Trump's proposal to extend Greenland isn't the only one. He has also expressed the wish to bring back control over the Panama Canal and even have Canada become the 51st U.S. state. As far as purchasing Greenland, both Denmark and Greenland would have to agree on whether the U.S. wanted to buy the territory. Greenland's Prime Minister, Mute B. Egede, has made it clear that Greenland wants to shape its own future and does not belong to any other country. Denmark also insists Greenland is not for sale, though it respects the islanders' right to choose their own path. Instead of selling Greenland, its leaders have shown interest in strengthening defense ties with the U.S. Trump, however, hasn't ruled out extreme measures. He has even hinted at using military force to take Greenland, which would break international laws and go against long-standing U.S. foreign policy. The U.S. hasn't forcefully taken over a foreign land in modern history, and the last time it bought territory was in 1917, when it purchased the U.S. Virgin Islands from Denmark. If Denmark refuses to sell, Trump will threaten to place tariffs on Danish goods. Since Denmark exports around $12 billion worth of products to the U.S. each year, this could put economic pressure on them. Greenland has always been important to the U.S. During World War II, the U.S. helped defend the island while Denmark was occupied by Nazi Germany. After the war, President Harry Truman sought to acquire Greenland, the strategically located territory, particularly as U.S.-Soviet tensions increased. In 1951, an arrangement with Denmark granted the U.S. rights to one military base in Greenland, which it continues to operate to this day. Now called Patuffik Space Base, it is a key site for tracking space and missile threats, especially from Russia. Other world powers are also interested in Greenland and the Arctic. Russia controls more than half of the Arctic coastline and has increased its military activity in the region, especially after its invasion of Ukraine, which pushed Finland and Sweden to join NATO. The Arctic, of course, is a long way from China's borders, but the country has dubbed itself a near-Arctic state and is expanding its infrastructure in the region by pouring resources into the creation of icebreaker ships and probing new trade routes. China and Russia have gone so far as to hold joint military exercises in the region, prompting widespread alarm in the U.S., while Canada is modernizing its defense systems and collaborating closely with the U.S. and allies to secure the Arctic. In October, U.S. and Canadian forces conducted joint exercises in Greenland as part of their air defense operations. The U.S. would need both Denmark and Greenland to agree, and both have firmly ruled out the idea. Greenlanders feel more neglected by Denmark and more inclined to achieve independence from their colonial master than to become a part of the U.S. Although America's military presence in Greenland will probably remain, the prospect of buying the island is, for now, more a political fantasy than a realistic proposition. What do you think? Should the U.S. pursue Greenland, or is it an impossible dream? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates on global politics.